Brazil continues to make progress with their planting. I think early this week, they're about 72% completed with the soybean planting. Probably by midweek or later this week, we'll be 3/4 of the way finished already. There are places in Mato Grosso where they're already wrapping up for the most part. Mato Grosso, Paraná. In my family farm in Minas Gerais, they're halfway done already. And so sometimes they'll run into early December, but it looks like they're a little bit ahead of schedule. They should be done here by the end of the month on our family farms. Things are going well overall. We continue to see pretty solid widespread silking rains for the most part, especially in the northern tier of Brazil's growing regions. In the next 10 days, most areas will see 1 to 3 inches. Argentina as well is going to see some decent precipitation. Maybe there's parts of the state of Paraná that are going to run a little bit drier that probably aren't going to see much here for the next 10 days. But looking out long range, we see precipitation kind of coming back and building in southern Brazil. And so we're not seeing any major threat areas in terms of weather right now. But again, there's a long growing season yet to go, and so a lot of things can happen yet. Just talking about corn exports, last year we did see, Brazil kind of overtake the United States as the #1 corn exporting country in the world, and now that's going to flip-flop back where exports here in the United States have been running hot, and it's kind of been helping support the CBOT prices. And I think we're continuing to see that, where this is generally the second half of the year is when you see Brazil's corn exports take off and kind of overtake the United States, but that really hasn't been happening this year. A lot more of Brazil's corn is being consumed domestically. A large part of that is due to a lot of the corn ethanol boom that you're seeing there right now, that every week, every few months, they're announcing more corn ethanol plants being built. And so I think you're going to continue to see that continue to consume more of Brazil's corn production, leaving less for eventual exports from Brazil. And so it's kind of forecast that Argentina might actually move into the second spot above Brazil. And Brazil might go from first place last year to maybe third place overall. And so that's kind of what we're seeing there with exports. We see a very wide gap between what the USDA and CONAB project for exports. Like for this year, I think USDA is at 44.1 million metric tons and CONAB's at 36 million metric tons. And that's 8 million metric tons. That's like 300 million bushels. So it's a pretty big gap. And neither one is probably right. I think CONAB is maybe a little bit understated, and maybe USDA is a little overstated. But looking ahead to next year, the gap is even wider right now. Now, it's a long ways off. These, preseason estimates, but they're talking 15 million metric tons difference. Well, that's 600 million bushels. And so it's wide enough you could drive a truck through that. And so something's got to give. That I think the export forecast for Brazil has probably got to increase, and USDA is probably overstating it like they tend to do. But overall corn acres in Brazil have been trending higher, but they're probably going to drop from 55 million acres last year to 52 million acres this year. And so looking at a long-term trend over a 20-year period of time, that gap has been closing between Brazil's corn acres and the United States. But we continue to see the main advantage in productivity, where we're expecting record yields, 183 bushels per acre, and it's like half that in Brazil overall. And so our productivity is still by and far quite a bit larger than what we're seeing in Brazil right now.